And now we're live. Hello, folks.
Good afternoon.
We have some people on.
Yes, we do.
Paul and Josie and David and Alex.
Yeah.
You can chat in where you're from.
Yeah. Let us know where you're at.
Because I got Maine.
Did I put in where I'm from yet? I don't think I did.
No, you didn't.
I just said, yup. Okay.
Well, somebody had asked Gene before. Oh, Nottingham, UK. Well, Phil from Philly and Wilmington, North Carolina.
All right.
All right. I know Paul, he's from jolly old England over there.
Oh, yeah.
He hasn't typed in yet.
Okay.
And we will goof off for 4 more minutes, letting people get online that have gotten the announcement. But many others, like Gene up there, will take advantage of the recordings.
Yes. They're all recorded.
They're all these podcasts are very nice. They come right back.
Yep.
Go to Matrix Talk, and it was like 80 or something now recordings.
I think we are at that magic number, Kevin. I'm going to just.
Oh, really? I didn't guess.
Yeah, I think we're just about right there.
Right about there. And in the meantime, even before you have 4 minutes, you can click the green button and get ninja level ProSocial whatever at the introductory price. We really do have an introductory price going on. We do. While we build it out. So, and we'll be holding the first of the ninja only crowdcasts December the something.
Second, I think the second.
Is it? December. Yeah. Okay. So we'll come up with some other special stuff.
Oh yeah.
And, nobody is behind on anything yet because we don't even have anybody up to black belt yet.
Right.
So we're doing
fine. People are coming into the dojo and they're warming up.
They're warming up and they're getting ready.
Doing their roles.
We're doing this all from a dojo point of view.
Right.
Yeah. And just to continue with that for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And what that means is that you first become very proficient at doing 2 loops around the matrix. That's first. So if you've ever had, and this would count for dance classes and cheerleading or anything.
Learn the salsa or whatever.
There's just some or the waltz, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There's a basic form that you need to learn, and that's our basic form. So that's what we're talking about. So then from there we go on up.
We add.
Well, today is an extension of that. So today we head into the step just beyond that. That we actually don't even require for the certification.
No, yeah.
So the first step is certification, and that's just the 2 loops. The ability to fluidly do the 2 loops.
Right.
So
and that's where you would come on with us, do your own little crowdcast.
Right here.
Right from this platform.
Phil and I minimize into the corner, and you do a crowdcast. And we have somebody scheduled for that coming up.
We do. We have somebody this Friday.
Well, that's really coming up.
Yeah. 2 days.
2 days from now.
And we are at 82, Kevin. I just checked. 82,
82
crowdcast recording.
82 crowdcasts. It's starting on May the 1st or so. So
we have been
we enjoy it.
But, it's a lot of fun.
So anyways.
Yeah,
we're 104. Okay. We're close.
Anybody else there that hasn't chimed in? Let us know where you're from if you're coming on. And we'll be getting started.
And one of the people coming up to do a crowdcast. Ann's on the list.
I think that might be a different Ann.
Different Ann. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well,
our Ann is in the U.S. That Ann is in the U.K.
Oh,
Anna. Sorry, Anna.
Well,
but maybe she signed up for this one too. Yeah, hold
on. There's an Anna and an Ann.
Oh yeah. Ann has signed up. She may not. She may be there. She may not be there.
David's from New York City.
Oh, there she is. It's
Yes, it is. And yeah, she said yes, it is. So she's
the famous Ann Sullivan.
So she'll be doing one coming up. I think in now December. We had to move it around.
Oh, right. That's right. We had to switch her up.
That's the one we had to move. Oh, 105. We're ready to go.
All right.
I'm a miracle worker.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. That's
You are.
Okay. So
here we go.
This is Wednesday, which means intermediate crowdcast. By the way, that all gets fouled up when we have guests come on.
Yeah.
We don't require guests
That's
to do.
A pause.
We don't require guests to do any particular, especially not intermediate and advanced. But it's today, and we're doing intermediate. So what does that mean? Well, that means that you have fluidly shown people the first two loops. Okay. And so you said, hey, who's important to you? And yeah, I'm not going to let you off the hook. You got to say, my wife. We get the hang of this, folks. I always open with my wife. Good person to open with, by the way. She thinks so.
Oh, yeah.
And Aikido, Phil. Oh, then we got Mom. Mom's great too. So we got folks like that. And then you can have fun with...
and we're just writing them down on a matrix diagram like we always do. Partner. There we go.
Partner. Yeah, I put in my goats. That's just to show that goats and other things are people too. They're who's. They're all part of Whoville, right? If you listen,
who's down in Whoville?
Listen to Dr. Seuss and it all. But yeah, so I think Phil wrote some down.
Yeah, I did. I got them.
And we show people that we put those in the lower right-hand part of the diagram. And then we go to the left and say, oh, what kind of yucky stuff shows up? And right about then, and we say fear. Fear is a very common yucky thing that shows up in all of us, and we don't like it, and so it's yucky. We don't like it. So we say fear. Over on the lower left.
Yep.
Most people have had experiences of other yucky stuff that shows up on the inside of them that they do not like, that they would consider yucky, and they want to get rid of it. What other kind of yucky stuff shows up? Apparently, we have people who are devoid.
Yeah.
Of yucky. No.
Frustration.
Okay.
Now we're talking.
Always nice to have frustration show up.
Anxiety.
And got anxiety. Perfect. See, and the list goes on and on.
Just like that.
I won't belabor it, but you can, if you want to, and if you need to, you can go on and on with that. Right.
Sadness, David says. All right. So
and when we go to the upper parts of the matrix, we're now in the world of observable behaviors. That is, people can use their senses to notice that you're doing stuff. And so what we first talk about is upper left and the stuff that we all do to lessen the yucky stuff. So, example, if I were afraid, I might run away to reduce the fear.
I would just draw the little arrow up there.
Right. So if somebody had frustration, what might they do in response to get rid of, that is, the frustration?
To reduce minimize, get away from your frustration. YouTube binge. All right.
I like it. YouTube
They just keep offering other YouTube videos for you to see, too. It's great.
Games on phone. Ooh. Now we're cooking.
Games. Yep. Games. All right.
How about anybody ever drink a little something? Do a little something like that?
Waiting for a yes. Come on, we know you're out there.
Oh, come on. Give us an example of a very common. I'll tell you that something I noticed, that when we went into all the COVID shutdowns months ago, there was one category of establishments that were left open. Liquor stores.
LCB in Pennsylvania. They just put liquor.
Nobody has any other away moves. I guess we are in a teetotaling crowd.
Well, either that or they're in a constant state of ecstatic wonder, Kevin.
Oh, well, that's true. Okay. It could be. But anyway, stuff that gets up there a lot is wine, W-I-N-E. But you can do whining, W-H-I-N-E, as an away move as well.
Just put an H in there and you got
all kinds of stuff like that. Oh, by the way, stuff like walking and yoga and exercise and crunchy snacks.
Yeah.
It's crunchy snacks. All can be away moves as well. Anything like that. You know, you might exercise. All kinds of good stuff. And then in the upper
crunchy
right,
snacks. Okay, Jazz.
put in crunchy.
Oh, yeah, I love crunchy snacks. That's my favorite. Crunchy snacks. Crunchy snacks. Very satisfying.
And we finish off this loop, or at least these quadrants, by doing the upper right.
Yep.
Which is where we put behaviors, observable behaviors that you can do, that you intend. And the intent of them is to move closer to who's important to you. So, sorry for my goats. I might go feed the goats.
Feed the goats.
Feed them.
I'm sure they enjoy that.
Yeah, exactly. And then you go. You
Go
to work. There you go. You can go to work. And for the people, I put in wife, and people put in sons and folks.
Yeah.
What might you do with
Want to
those?
work? You're important people.
Oh, sure. But what might you do with? Let me see.
We got mom. We got mom here. Something for mom.
Oh, some very common thing people do.
Can't leave mom out of this. What do you do to move toward your mom? Small thing.
You can visit mom, get her coffee.
Get her coffee. All right.
And of course, you can call her. I just put in call. You can call mom.
Hey, mom.
You heard the old adage, call.
What's happening?
Here, I put it in. Call your mother.
Call your mother.
Yeah, they get that message sometimes.
Very good.
Stuff, but you can text folks. You can, oh, I know something kids like. What do kids like to do? Anybody know?
Anybody?
Oh, I'll tell you. They like to play. Oh, they also like to FaceTime. That is true.
Yep.
Older kids.
Play. FaceTime. There you go.
All kinds of cool
Cool.
stuff.
Yep.
And the way you finish that off is you say, okay, and now we put noticing right smack dab in the middle. And
Just like that.
say, hey, do you think that you might have the opportunity to notice the stuff like who and what's important to you, and yucky stuff and away moves and toward moves showing up in your life in the next week or so? What do you think? That you might have the opportunity to notice those things showing up in your life? Just look out into the future and imagine if you.
Ann says yes.
Ann says yes. Okay, cool. So we have one person who might have the opportunity to notice that stuff showing up. Cool. What if anybody else? Maybe the rest think, nope.
They're on the fence. Indeed.
Alex said indeed. Okay, there we go. So now you got it. Now you have the hang of it.
That's your first loop.
You'll notice we just did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with noticing with number 5. At this point, what we continuing with this form, we say we go to the next one, which is we've changed the lower right quadrant, and it becomes, the question becomes, what's our shared purpose? And so now you can, if you were meeting with a couple, let's say, you could ask them, what's your shared purpose?
Yeah.
You could ask it that way as well, but it's the shared purpose question. And so for today, our shared purpose might be what? What might we all be gathered here for today on this crowdcast?
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here on this crowdcast. What are we gathered here for? Nobody knows.
Learning, David says.
That's a biggie. That's a biggie.
Anything else?
I'll put in mine.
Yeah, let's get it up there. We have a simple task today.
And psychological flexibility. That's what we do, folks. That's what Matrix Talk, Phil and I do.
I just shortened it up, put the old trident in there.
Put the trident in there, yes. So, well, we got learning and spread psychological flexibility. Apparently, other people are at a loss on what we might be doing. But that's all right.
They'll discover that along the way.
Well, they'll discover it. On the lower left, it's still yucky stuff. You usually ask in terms of what kind of yucky stuff shows up when you're working with other people. So far, I'm batting 100% that everybody I've ever talked to has yucky stuff show up when they go to working with other people. Such as, oh, I can tell you, what's a biggie? Somebody think, what's a, like, one of the first things that shows up.
What pops into your head?
When you go to working with somebody else.
They don't like me.
There we go. They don't like me. That's one. That's popular.
Okay.
They are
judging me.
Judgment shows up. There we go. There we go. I am judging them.
Oh, yeah. I am judging.
You guys are all getting around. And the very shortest answer to all of this is people's egos show up. and start to get in the way.
Almost instantaneously sometimes.
Relating to all kinds of the stuff that shows up. And in that context of working with others, then this sort of a special class of away move shows up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like the stuff you do at work. So theory rears its head. And I'm just using the generic.
We're holding that ego lightly today here.
Ego shows up, and ego is for the self.
Yeah, me.
But now up to the left, oh my, people do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They do all kinds of really cool.
They don't like me comes up.
When it comes to upper left stuff, we get away from those icky feelings. So if you're feeling judged, what might you do? If you're feeling judged.
What's that look like on the outside?
And you're trying to shake some of that off.
Leave or avoid contact.
Exactly. That is one of the most common ones. And the other very common one is the exact opposite of that. So people are the leave and avoid.
Yeah, no, the opposite.
The other is get confrontational. You got it. Those two opposites drive a lot of stuff in workplaces and relationships and stuff. The avoiders and the confronters. And when you got the avoiders avoiding the confronters, at the chase.
Yeah. The race is on.
Right. So all kinds of stuff. So that's where you do that.
Yep.
And then, of course, the $1 million question is, what behaviors can we do to move toward the shared purpose? And some are basics, like communicate. That always shows up. Communicate. And that's true. It's true. To do toward shared purpose, you need to communicate. At the very least, we need to know what the shared purpose is, right? So what else? Create group agreement. There we go. Would you mind do that? Get an agreement.
Get agreement.
There we go. Very important, very common across all groups.
Yep.
Thing. You can get in the others. I usually throw in, if people don't, respect. I have noticed that people can mightily disagree on things, but if they respect each other, they can still get a lot of work done. And so you need to treat each other with respect.
Agreeably disagree, right?
Agreeably disagree, exactly. So, and there's all kinds of other stuff. And then it gets into the specifics, of what you're doing.
Yeah. And break it down if you're doing some problem solving or setting goals, whatever it is.
But, making widgets or
who's going to do what,
who's going to do what, when, how, where, that kind of stuff. But but that all stems from shared purpose.
Having this conversation down here.
Got to have the shared purpose. So, and finally, we finish off with another noticing.
Oh, yeah.
You'll notice number 5 and number 10 are noticing. So that makes it easy. 2 of them are the same thing. And then you ask the question, do you think you'll have the opportunity to notice having a shared purpose with somebody and with a group? You might have the opportunity to notice yucky stuff showing up in regards to working with others. You might notice away moves from yucky stuff. And you might notice the toward in regards to working with others.
Yeah.
Does anybody on the line today think they'll have the opportunity to notice that kind of stuff showing up in the next week or so?
Yep.
Says, yep. All right. We got one person who's
I notice it. There you go. Well,
yes. Oh, lots of people. Okay.
Andrew says yes.
Cool. So what happened there, folks, is inadvertently behind the scenes, you were actually training.
Yeah.
Let's say that one of us, Phil, I, or one of the people on the call, you went and showed this to one or more people.
Yeah.
And you show it to them, and you show it just like that, and they go, "Oh, cool," and they answer the questions, and they have a pretty good time. It's pretty neat. And just by the fact that you showed that stuff, something has happened. And what has happened is that you've shown them where things go or where they can be categorized onto
on the diagram.
The diagram. They didn't know that before.
Nope.
But now they know.
They've got a use for it.
They know that important stuff, including the what stuff, can go in the lower right.
Down here.
They know that yucky stuff goes in the lower left.
Here.
And they know that behaviors that they do to lessen the yucky stuff go up in the upper left. And that toward moves, no matter what, shared purpose or others or whatever, is in the upper right.
Yep.
Doing the second loop with initial therapy, because everybody is part of a group.
Right.
And Phil and I have noticed that it's just very practical to go ahead and show both loops.
Yeah. Even if it's you and the person, you're a group, you're a ProSocial.
Right. So you don't have to. And there's no reason.
Yeah.
For our purposes, we want to hear people do both loops.
When you actually do the training.
That's all. But you don't have to.
No.
But I will tell you that we have found it useful to go ahead and show both.
Yep. Works very nice.
Always exceptions to the rule, but it's just useful. Because later on, you can always play catch up. You can do one and then come back, and lo and behold, somehow they'll come up with some shared purpose thing.
Yeah.
And then you got to go, oh, let me tell you a little something extra.
Yeah.
That's a shared purpose thing, and that goes down here in the lower right.
Yeah.
So you got to go back and fill it in.
Right.
Not the end of the world. You can do that. You can absolutely. But we just noticed that a lot.
Yeah. We've learned from experience that shared purpose is going to show up, even with an individual.
Yeah. It almost, everybody I've ever met, at least part of a dyad, a couple. And so, and almost everybody's actually part of some work group somewhere, whether it be work or church or.
Yeah. Well, David, your example is if someone goes in individually and they start talking about their significant other, well, there you go right there. Now they're talking about a shared purpose.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and how many times have you seen somebody that they didn't start talking about their significant other or their mom or their dad or, in the lower right. So yeah, right. Yeah, right. And those relationships all have a shared purpose. And then here's the even better rub is you two together in the same room have a shared purpose.
Right there.
So it'll come to that. Whoa, well, what are we working on here today? Why are you, why? And it can range from my parents made me come to, oh, here's one. My spouse made me come.
Oh, yeah, that's very popular. Yeah. Right.
You know,
if there's two of them, one points to the other.
You just see it can just show up. So we just go ahead and do both. Right. We just do both. And
it doesn't hurt.
And it doesn't hurt. And it gets people into the thing and all that. And back to it, you now train people. That's where stuff goes.
Yeah.
And you know, and you don't even have to be explicit about that. That just happened.
They're going to pick up on it.
But that just happened. But what can happen pretty quickly? And let's use the couple example.
Yeah.
You know, of like, well, my wife and I have been arguing about, how to discipline the kids. They said that. And you've already showed them both loops. You've already shown them. And they said that. And you go, oh.
Okay.
And at that point, you might say, huh. And now I'll have Phil, he'll turn and stare at the diagram.
Yeah. I guess.
And now the person has already begun.
Yeah.
And Phil will probably go ahead and say, oh, where would your wife go here?
Where would you put your wife up here on the board?
Right. And
where would you put your kids up here on the board?
There we go. Wife, kids, all that. And we've got wife, kids, and shared purpose all in the same statement. And all of that can be sorted up there. And that's what you're doing, is you're having the person take their story. That's a story. My wife and I have been having a conflict about child rearing.
Very popular story.
Right. It's a way popular story. Right. Very popular. You can even hear it at dinner parties.
Oh.
Yeah. But instead of responding the usual way, you're instead, and you don't have to do it this way.
No.
But now one of your options is to go, oh, well, remember the diagram here? We can actually put that stuff on the diagram.
We could take what you just said and put it up here on the board.
Right there. And that's called sorting. SORTING, sorting. And there's all kinds of cool cognitive stuff that happens when people do sorting. Okay. And from an ACT point of view, if you guys have studied ACT at all, it's diffusing. DEFUSING, defusing. What that means, real language, is you're getting a little distance from the story.
Yeah.
Just
backing up a little bit.
Backing up from the story a little bit. Right. So maybe the person said it with some gusto. They're like, I'm having arguments with my wife about how to.
We're arguing every day.
They're saying it that way. And you go, oh, where might that go? And they go, oh, yeah. Well, right then, you broke that.
Yeah. You loosened it up.
You loosened it up. You loosened up that power of that and had them start looking at it from that. And that's just the beginnings, but you just continue that. But when we say, oh, yeah, I have sorting and beyond, and it's verbal Aikido, I know I put other stuff, but that's, well, we'll get to the verbal Aikido. Yeah. Don't worry.
It's around the bend.
Just knowing those categories are there now, and that literally every story ever told by any human being can be sorted into those four categories.
You can just sort anything they say up there.
Any story will have an element of who's important, it'll almost always have an element of yucky stuff. Away moves and toward moves. It's just the nature of humans. That's what humans talk about. It just is. and and we talk about shared purposes too, right? And all kinds of other stuff. And you can just invite. And now it's called inviting. Looks like this.
Like this.
That's the Keanu Reeves Matrix movie, if you've ever seen it.
This is it right here.
He goes like this.
Yeah.
We're going like this.
Yeah, he's wanting the bullets to come at him. We're just wanting words.
We're just wanting the words, but we're wanting them to sail past us and onto
over the shoulder.
This, by the way, is handy to have it set up like Phil has it, over your left or right shoulder.
Yeah, whichever your preference.
Whichever you prefer, it doesn't matter. But the main thing is that you can now go, oh, where does that go? Where does that go? And it's just cool, folks. Try it. Just give it a try. But in order to do the try, you first need to do the 10 steps.
Have the board.
Right. And remember, if somebody comes up with shared purpose and you haven't already taught them that's where shared purpose goes, now you'll have to stop and teach them that.
Yeah.
Oh, shared purposes go in the lower right. That's why we just like to go ahead and get it out of the way. Because child rearing is a shared purpose.
Yes.
In the example we're using now. So, but politics.
Oh.
Has anybody heard any political discussions lately? I wonder. I'm looking at chat. It was a simple question.
Yeah.
Have you heard any political discussions lately?
Like anywhere.
At any point in your life?
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Just a few.
There we go. So we have at least one person who has heard political discussions. Politics is shared purpose. Period. Nobody has a political discussion about one person living on a mountain doing what they want to do. You got to do that Jeremiah Johnson thing.
Yeah.
And it really goes. But once you get with other people, here comes politics. And
that includes just walking down the street, folks.
Oh, yeah. It's walking down the street. Because why? Well, are they following the rules? I mean, literally, the rules that we have established for walking down the street or not?
Walking down the middle of the street.
Right, because they're going to be walking right down the middle of the freaking yellow line, you know? What's that old joke? Oh, I loved it once. He said, I got pulled over for driving down the sidewalk.
Oh, yeah.
and there you go.
There
we go. There we go.
Yes.
That's politics. Once you do it into that, now you've just entered into
the realm of
that. We don't call it politics. We call it shared purposes, and for obvious reasons. But it's about shared purposes, and so you have a discussion about shared purposes. So that's why it's up there. But you can have people sort right into that. Boom, 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 and pretty soon with somebody. And I mean, when I mean soon, I mean within just a few minutes. Especially if you have the diagram up like Phil does, they'll start using the diagram as part of the conversation.
Yeah.
It will come in and out.
It's incorporated into.
It gets incorporated. It doesn't mean that every utterance has to be said.
No.
We are not saying that. But you want to establish it enough that you can refer to it so that people can start looking at it as, oh, was I doing that in order to get away from a feeling? Was I doing that to move toward, shared purpose or who and what's important to me? What was that? And now whenever that question gets asked, now they're backed up.
All of that will be along the ride.
They're looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
This is all about backing people up and getting people to a bigger picture. Seeing the big picture of things. So, and that's called the observer self. If you want to get into ACT stuff, but that's actually a term that's used for a lot of hundreds of years.
Yeah.
As the observer self, this human ability to get back off of things and take a more distant,
in a bigger picture.
And since the advent of airliners and 30,000 feet, they'll call it the 30,000 foot view, flying over, looking down on the earth. So that kind of, but that's what you're going for. Yep. And each time you ask for a sort, that's what you're
doing perspective taking.
Right.
And we might want to add that it doesn't matter where they put it. I like to put,
that's way important.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where it lands.
Wherever they want is where it goes.
Yeah, like, the wild example of that would be, well, so, your wife's, you mentioned your wife. Where did she go? Oh, yeah. Upper left.
Right.
Now, if you're into the zen of this,
you gotta go
put her right up there.
Okay, so your wife goes in the upper left,
and you just let it be. Remember that Beatles song, "Let It Be"? You just let it be. Yeah. And the reason that is, folks, it's the verb of sorting. Yeah. It's the action of sorting. The sorting that's important. It's not where it lands.
Right.
And that's the separation between this way of looking at things versus a mechanistic way of looking at things. We're not worried about that. We're just wanting people to do the sorting. And they'll always fix it up later on. 100%.
Oh, yeah. They're going to come back to it.
They'll come back to it and fix it. So don't worry about it. But that takes practice.
Yeah.
I will admit. First few times through, you'll go, no. It goes in the lower right.
What is an urge to sort for? Occupational hazard.
The other occupational hazard is you'll sort for them.
Right.
You'll go, oh, that goes in the lower right. And they didn't do the sorting. You just did. We all love sorting so much. If you give a little kid, I don't know how old, but they don't have to be very old, like some blocks, square and triangles and like that, and then give them those games where they have the spaces to put them in that, and they'll start sorting them. They'll start sorting by colors and all that. Humans like to sort things, so this is just getting into that. They just like to sort things. So, and now we're going to take advantage in the kindest of ways. The kindest of ways, we're going to take advantage of that urge to sort, that need to sort things out. And that's